We are talking right now with President of the Haverhill City Council running for re-election, Mr. Robert Scatamacchia. Welcome to the program, Bob.
Thank you, Frank, and I think it's the first time in all the times I've been on your show that you've ever called me Mister, but I appreciate that.
I'm trying to be very respectful. That being the case, tell us, this is your, you've been 4 terms as a city councilor right now, and that's in, as I had mentioned just before we happen to go on the air, that's in this lifetime, because from 1980 to 88, you happen to be a city councilor as well, and that's a total of about 9 terms. It's sort of like you've taken root, perhaps, at the city council desk, but that's okay, and people have thought well enough of you to be able to vote your city council president.
And I appreciate their votes very much, but from 80 to 88, my kids were younger, and after 88, they became involved in all kinds of kid activities, hockey, soccer, dance, ice skating. So I thought certainly didn't want to miss any of their events, which would have happened.
That's good. It's kind of interesting you bring that up when you're talking about 80 to 88, and the city was different then from how the city is now.
Yes.
Correct? Give us an indication from your experience and your insight, having been a councilor from 1980 to 88 and having been a city councilor from 2004 to present, what do you expect, given your insight and your experience, what do you expect the city of Haverhill to look like in the future, from your perspective?
Well, as much as things have changed from my previous experience on the council till now, they've really changed the same in some regard. In my first 4 terms, we had Proposition 2.5. When I came back, we had the Hale debt that we had to live with. And I think because of the fact that we were dealing with budget deficits for so long, I think Councilor Bill Masick said the same thing. We kind of had the experience to maybe deal with the Hale debt from our experience with Proposition 2.5. And I think what's happening is, even with the bad economy nationally and internationally, Haverhill has still done some fantastic things, I think, as far as development. We've cited a new industrial park. We did things downtown that I don't think would have been possible without the mayor and the city council sitting down together and putting our heads together to put some of these developments downtown. And now we have Merrimack Street. So I think the dynamic of the city has changed dramatically. Back in the 80s, all we had was Washington Street in that area. It was declared a historic district, and there was all kinds of incentives for developers to develop Washington Street, Wingate Street, and Granite Street. And then we had the recession in 88. It had nothing to do with me quitting the city council, by the way. I want to point that out.
Okay, very good.
But now, even with the recession, and things started, back in my early years of my second life on the council, the economy was going pretty well. And what had happened when it went bad is, I think we still had the momentum to accommodate some of the changes in some of the developers downtown. And you see the housing downtown. You go in restaurants, and my wife and I frequent them fairly regularly, and you don't see a lot of the Haverhill people that you used to see. There are a lot of new people in the city. And if you read the real estate transfers, and I'm sure you do, there are streets that I've never even heard of. I have to actually GPS some of the streets, some of the newer streets in Haverhill, because I've only lived here 63 years. I don't know where they are.
So a lifelong resident, obviously. Having said that, let me ask you this: in being proactive about some things, oftentimes government, whether it be national, regional, or local, tends to be very reactive, and that's in order to sort of keep a tight rein on your purse strings, and that's okay. But there's a necessity sometimes to be proactive as far as from a maintenance standpoint, and I'm talking right now as an example, the downtown area. If we're talking downtown Haverhill, there's been discussion periodically about how old some of the sewer lines are or the water lines are down there, and that they're going to have to be dealt with at some point in time, because if they don't, if something fails, if it may not be catastrophic, it may be close to it. So are there any plans for something of that type?
I think those plans were back in the 80s and the 90s. When we did the historic district in Washington, Wingate, and Granted, all of the utilities were updated. Under Mayor Ryan, under Mayor Pelosi, we did Merrimack Street. So I think those have been taken care of. And what's been happening is, I think as the city moves on, it's a lot of, South Main Street, that although it's a mess, all the utilities have been updated. And hopefully, and we're keeping our fingers crossed, that construction project will end fairly soon, because it's certainly an inconvenience for people traveling from Bradford to Haverhill and from Haverhill to Bradford using 125. So, that aspect of the utility aspect, what you don't see, the infrastructure, has been dealt with over the course of the last 20 years. So, hopefully we don't have to worry about that, but, things happen.
If we're not talking about the infrastructure right now, let's talk about something else, and that happens to be a controversial issue having to do with the cost of living adjustments for retirees, for people that were on the municipal payroll that are now retired. And the mayor was not in favor of that. The retirement board was voting in favor of that. That's now gone to the city council. The city council has sent that to subcommittee, I guess, for review. But there's a difference there. People, and my question is, when does this vote come up? And it will be a little odd if this vote doesn't come up until after the election, because it almost seems as though, rather than offend one side or the other side, let's make a vote on this after the elections happen to occur. What's your take on that particular thing? What's your view on this issue?
I think that there should be a limit. Just to go back in history again, on my first life on the council, the wage scale I'll give you an example of the clerks in City Hall were very small, even compared to what was in private industry, but their benefits were tremendous. They got better benefits than people at Lucent, but their pay was nowhere near what the people at Lucent were getting. As time went on, their pay increased. But there are some people who and just to clear up one thing, the increase, the COLA, is only for up to $12,000 right now. So the cost of living increase would be only on that $12,000 if it stayed the same. The cost of living increase, if it is increased, would be on the first $15,000 of your pension from the city. Okay. It's a difficult situation, because a lot of the people who are having problems with their pensions are the people that were the low-income type people who had the good benefits. And I have absolutely no problem. What I would like to no problem giving them that COLA.
Coming up on time, though. Go ahead.
And I think what has to happen is there has to be some justification between that 15,000 and the 12,000. We had a widow's pension that we unanimously agreed on prior to before we sent that to the Administration and Finance Committee.
So you got to be sensitive about these issues when it happens to come up, but that'll have to be the last word.
You do.
Robert Scatamacchia, President of Haverhill City Council, running for re-election. Thanks very much for being here. Wish you the best in the next election.
Thank you very much.
We'll be back in just a moment.